One of the things that I've found difficult about losing a loved one is that it took me 3 decades to find someone that I truly loved, and then I lost it within 8 months. The difficult part of losing that person was just having to completely disconnect myself from them. My life was so heavily intertwined with it, and we called each other every day. We would fall asleep on FaceTime with each other. And it was everything that I had imagined love to be when I was younger. I was like, when I finally found my person, this is what love is going to be like. And it wasn't until I found him that I realized the first person who I thought I loved, I didn't really love them. He showed me what it could be like to truly fall in love with someone. And for the 8 months that we were together, it was some of the happiest moments of my life. Even though I was going through some difficult things, other aspects of my life, he was just one of the things that was such a happy constant. And it didn't matter that I was struggling with these issues at work, but he just made everything better. And everything was going so well for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden it just came to a screeching halt. And I didn't understand why. Things that's hard to come to terms with is that some people will come into your life for a limited period of time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're here to stay. Sometimes people come into our lives just to bring us moments of happiness, just to bring us moments of peace in the times that we really need it. Some people come into our lives because we're going through a difficult time, and they're there to help us through it. And then once we're out of that difficult time, then they're no longer there. It was hard for me to come to terms with this idea because I don't like to think of people as temporary. Even though some people should be temporary, I don't want to think of it that way. If I come across a person and we form a genuine connection, then I want you to stay in my life. If you bring me happiness, if you bring me peace, I want you to be here, and I want you to continue to have a good relationship with me, whether that's romantically or platonically. It felt like it would never get better. It felt like things would just continue to be gray, and I would never find that happiness and peace and joy again. Love is such an interesting thing. It's something that so many of us crave, but so many of us never get to experience. And it wasn't until I met him that I finally got to experience it. And just like that, it was gone. And it's just a reminder of how so many things in life are out of our control. And as much as I would have wanted to continue being with this person, it just wasn't meant to be. And sometimes, you get into the thoughts of, I'll never find love again. I'll never meet anyone who was as great as them. I would never love the way that I love this person. And I don't think it's helpful to think that way. My therapist told me something that was very profound, which was, if you found it once, then there's a very good chance that you can find it again. The thing is, you may always carry a bit of that person with you, even though you're no longer together. We'll never forget who they are as a person. And sometimes when you get close to someone, you also have to accept the risk that there is a very good chance that they will hurt you. Everyone has their own limitations, and there is no such thing as a perfect person. Sometimes we put our expectations on other people, not even realizing that We're requiring these standards of them, and sometimes they're not even aware of these standards. I think the best thing to do for anyone else who may be experiencing heartbreak or feeling like they've lost love and they might not find it again is to cherish the moments that made you happy. Looking at them as the person who has their own lives and hurts, and even though they may not necessarily flow with our desires, some people it's better to appreciate them from a distance because having them too close to us just brings us more pain. Unfortunately, pain is an inevitable part of being human. Grief is an inevitable part of being human. But what really matters is how we respond to these moments of grief and these moments of pain. Take things little by little, day by day. And as cliche as it sounds, time truly does heal all wounds. Unfortunately, there are some wounds that will always be there. It will always be with us. But as the day goes by, it hurts less and less every single day. Sometimes love doesn't mean that that person will be linked to us for a happy ending. And that's a really tough pill to swallow. Sometimes things just work out that way, and we don't always know the reason why things happen the way that they happen. And as difficult as it is to accept, if someone makes a decision to leave or someone makes the decision to be toxic and to hurt you, we have to be willing to love ourselves more too. We have to be willing to love ourselves more than to be in a situation or relationship that's not bringing us the joy and happiness that it needs to. It's hard. It's very hard. And to be truthful, I don't know if I would ever get over this person. However, if you're someone who's also dealing with heartbreak, and I would be lying if I said that there isn't a day where I wish I would look up on my phone and see his number or see a text from him and he's going to say that, let's give it another try. I would be over the wall happy, but I know that I need to live in reality. I need to live in the now. And sometimes going back to the person who hurt us can be detrimental for our future. It's really now a matter of picking up the pieces of yourself that are still there to pick up and put them together, piece them together, figure out who you are now, and keep trying to move forward. Heartbreak sucks. It really does, especially when you feel like you've waited so long to find love and you finally found it and then it's gone. No one deserves to go to bed thinking about why they weren't enough for someone, why they weren't good enough to love, why that person didn't care enough about everything that you've done for them in order to stay. And it really sucks to be going through so much pain thinking that you did something wrong when you know in fact that you gave 100% of yourself. Time cannot go backwards, it can only move forward. And use that time to continue to get better each and every single day, whether that's exercising, hanging out with your family and friends, picking up hobbies that have improved your life in some way. You need to trust that you will eventually move on. Allow yourself to feel the loss, sit with it, observe it as it comes and goes. And I find a lot that journaling can really help express those feelings, especially when you don't have anyone to talk to or don't have anyone who understands what you're going through. Eventually, the pain will subside, and eventually, you might even fall in love again. Continue to believe in love, and if you need to, forgive yourself for the things that you've done in the past.